Christmas is over. One more NBA DFS slate. The excellent eights today. $8 on DraftKings, 100K up top. We're going to do the best work we can here as we do what we always do on the Splash Play channel and compare my projections to one of the industry leaders out there, our friends over at Stokastic. We'll see the top plays are, who the best value plays are. We'll also go game by game, check the ownership along the way, see where the leverage on the slate is. We'll run the sim with Stokastic's data without my interference, see what the top ROI lineups are according to them. I'll probably try to do a hand build as well. By the end of this video, guys, we're going to know all the industry's must plays, along with my splash plays for today's December 26th NBA slate. Let's get into it. All right, before the show, Bam Adebayo downgraded to doubtful. So I did, between the NFL and NBA streams, quickly update data, resim stuff. But we got that updated now. So looking like it's going to be a Khalil Ware day once again for me, as it has been a few too many times lately, but that's the case. And prepare, guys. Also saw, I think, Champagne got downgraded for illness. Like the slate before Christmas, I imagine we're going to find a lot of players today getting downgraded, getting ruled out. Sort of what happens. Players are human beings just like us, even though they are making tens of millions of dollars more a year. They don't like working during the holidays. So that's going to be a thing to keep in mind today. So watch out for updates. I'll be on Stokastic's live before lock later today at 6 p.m. So if you want my updated takes, you'll hear them then. And of course, you can also get my data updated throughout the day here. Though a little bit of an early video today, and I apologize for not getting the Christmas video out. This holiday week has been a pain in the ass, and my wife has not been the most helpful with making sure I got my streams done on time. And today we're doing some family stuff this afternoon, so had to get the video done a little bit earlier than usual, but hopefully it doesn't affect most of you viewers who were watching after the fact anyway. So video's a little bit earlier than usual, but hope it adds some joy. And shout out to Parker. Happy holidays, everyone. Yes, no matter what you are celebrating, hope it's a good holiday, and how you're celebrating too. Like, I spent time with family, had a lovely time with my wife's family yesterday. It was really one of the more pleasant Christmases in a while. But also, you know, like when I was a bachelor, there were times where I just stayed at home and like didn't want to fly out to the East Coast when I was in LA. So like, you know, whatever your vibe is, if you just ordered Chinese food and smoked some weed, I don't hate it. If you went out, did family stuff, and were the best dad you could possibly be, building a Hot Wheels track until 1 a.m. the night before, only for Santa to get all the credit, that fat fuck. And you are more in my world, but no matter what you're doing, I hope it's a good holiday for you guys. Your top projected players: Jalen Johnson, number one here, 10K salary. Our boy Jalen Johnson, every slate seems to be making it. Now today, you have a 246.5 point total in this game with Miami and Atlanta's the favorite at home, 4.5 point favorite here. Jalen Johnson putting up 1.42 fantasy points a minute, counting for the matchup today, and no Porzingis still. I have him at 1.55 fantasy points a minute today. So Jalen Johnson, I'm at 55.9 fantasy points. Stokastic dead even with me at 55.9. I think the fact that you'll have Khalil Ware emerging as mega chalk with Bam Adebayo out. Musa Diabate also going to be mega chalk. He's your guy in the thumbnail today if you didn't recognize that face. It's probably also going to result in very samey lineups where you have Ware, you have Diabate, you have Jalen Johnson. You have maybe a few other chalk games that we'll talk, chalk plays that we'll talk about as we go. But Jalen Johnson, 27% ownership for the field. I'm at 41. He's been one of the best plays of the year for me. I feel like most slates, he's not usually letting me down. When he's mega chalk, gets a little bit tougher for sure. That's the case with anybody. I don't think it's Jalen Johnson's fault if he doesn't hit enough of a tournament ceiling as mega chalk here. At 27% ownership, I think he should be, 33, 40. So getting 41% of my top 150, not an issue. Late slate plays here. We've got Denny Avdia, Cade Cunningham coming up. Both guys look fine. Avdia getting a pretty big uptick because having no Jeremy Grant in addition. Still no Scoot Henderson, still no Drew Holiday. Cade Cunningham playing Utah. That doesn't hurt him out. Doesn't hurt him too much rather, and certainly helps him out quite a bit. But these are late slate plays. I don't even know if they're on FanDuel. So if they're on FanDuel, you can play them. If you're on DraftKings main slate, these guys aren't options. Jaylen Brown, 48.7 fantasy points for me. Again, another dead even, 48.7 for Stokastic. 7% ownership expected. I am getting him at 11. Jaylen Brown is one of those guys at 9,600. I feel like I get pretty much every slate because he usually projects well enough for me. And also, he has the massive ceiling for sure. But Boston today playing Indiana, not a great defense going against them. Pretty decent pace up as every matchup is for Boston with them playing at a league low, about 95 and change pace. But for Jaylen Brown, I think really the big thing is that the defense is not going to be great going against them. Indiana giving up 117 points per 100, which is towards the bottom half of the league. I don't mind Jaylen Brown. I'd rather play Jalen Johnson with the massive total. But both your Jalen's today on the main slate look like key plays. Definitely Jalen Johnson, more of a key play, though, relative to his ownership. Tyrese Maxey. Got a lot of Q tags on the Sixers real fast. Let me look him up here. Pull up the injury report. Got Barlow questionable again, Edgecombe questionable again, Grimes questionable again, Embiid questionable after playing last game with his right knee continuing to be an albatross for him and the team. But if you get all those guys out, Tyrese Maxey is going to look a lot better. As it is, only 7% ownership. I'm getting 3. Would say that Jaylen Brown is currently the better play. But if you do get a bunch of these Sixers ruled out, sort of hard to ignore Maxey at that point, playing Chicago today with a 240 implied total. So Philadelphia right now doesn't look like a great play for anybody. But if you get a bunch of those key guys out, if you get all those key guys out, especially Embiid, would say Maxey will look better, George will look better, McCain will look okay as value again. Jabari Walker will be playable value, even though we know the ceiling is not that high there. Really need to know Philadelphia stuff, and we don't know it yet. That game for Philadelphia and Chicago today also locks at 7:30, so you hope you'll know before the 7 o'clock lock time. You may not, though, so be prepared to swap if you don't. Trae Young seems intriguing as leverage against Johnson. I talked about this with Josh Engelman on the deeper dive when we did the show on Tuesday, because I thought the same thing conceptually, but Trae Young is really deferring to Jalen Johnson now, and he honestly was even before he got injured, but now especially it seems like it. There are really good rates for Trae Young with Porzingis off the court, so I think conceptually, yeah, but Trae Young is not. I mean, where do I have him at? Trae Young at 8,800. I have him for a 37.2 projection with giving him a boost in rates. Stokastic, of course, relying more on that longer term sample size. They have him at 44. It makes sense. It makes sense. And the price tag's getting better. It's not 9,500 like it was, I think, on Tuesday. But I want to see him be, I think, to me, 7,500, I would definitely play him. 8K, you could talk me into it. 9K is still a little bit much. But James Harden, Kawhi Leonard looking good in that late slate as well. Again, the late slate games, pretty appealing here in terms of the top projected players. Your only guy above 50 fantasy points for the main slate is Jalen Johnson. And I guess that'd be the case too, even if we did have the last 2 games. Kevin Porter Jr., again, just doesn't take a big enough rate increase with Giannis off the court. But in last game, we saw the thing that my data's been saying should happen a little bit more, where Ryan Rollins actually outproduced him. Real fast, we go to the popcorn machine because I don't think I looked that up with all the Christmas hubbub going on. Milwaukee versus Indiana last game, though. Ryan Rollins off the bench ends up playing 33 minutes. Doesn't really take minutes away from Kevin Porter, but puts up a 23 with 23 points, 12 peripherals. KPJ put up 24 with 13 peripherals. So they basically played like the same guy. In my data, Ryan Rollins and Kevin Porter Jr. have been the same guy for a while. So I don't want to be blind to it. KPJ, though, is locked into endless minutes. He's always a threat for a triple-double. At single-digit ownership, I don't think you want to have 0. But at 9% ownership, I'm getting 7. I could see myself getting 15, 20. Because I do want to get that ceiling for KPJ. But at a 9K salary, I think he's priced mostly appropriately. I view him like a Jaylen Brown, where you get some mixed in. I don't think he's a core play. But he does have, I think, does he have a bigger ceiling than Jaylen Brown? It feels like a hot take to say that out loud. I think he has a bigger ceiling than Jaylen Brown for fantasy, because the rebound, the assist upside is there every game. Jaylen Brown, the scoring is there every game, but the rebounds and assists a little bit less so. Again, no issue with Kevin Porter Jr. It's just he's now priced for what he is fully. Paolo Banchero, 28% for the field. I'm getting 11 right now. Not a big stand for me. Gave him the rate boost with no Suggs, no Franz Wagner. Both guys still going to be out today, it looks like. Well, Franz definitely out. I think Suggs technically doubtful, but doubtful is basically out. For Banchero here, he projects about 3 fantasy points better for Stokastic, probably because he's played better in the longer-term sample size than he has this year. I of course, weight the current season a little bit higher. But Banchero, no issue with him at 8,700. Definitely a live pivot to Jalen Johnson at 1,300 less. Both guys power forward. That's the best thing I could say for him. Orlando today. Going against Charlotte also helps too. Yeah, I mean, really no issue with Banchero. He's just not as good of a play, but he's an okay play. No, anybody going against Charlotte, always going to be an okay play. Scotty Barnes got downgraded to questionable, not doubtful though, so he's still in the data set. For Scotty Barnes, if he were out, you have Barrett out, you have Pirtle out, so the remaining key Raptors there with Quickly, with Ingram, and with Mamukelashvili, I think would all look a lot better. You would also get probably more Agbaji minutes, maybe Jacoby Walter back in the mix, something like that. But I don't think it would matter too much. But I think BI, yes, a BI at 7,500 would definitely be a lot more in play. You're basically, and we could just quickly look up the rates here because it might be helpful. I don't, honestly, for Barnes, I feel like he plays through everything. So he's one of those guys where even the midday downgrade, I wouldn't assume he's not going to play. And for a Q-tag player, we do generally data-wise, like Stokastic does. I treat it the same way. I think every site does. If a guy's a Q-tag, you assume they're going to play. If they're a doubtful tag, you assume they're not. But if Barnes, let's take Barnes and Barrett off. We'll keep Pirtle on just for the sake of keeping the sample size somewhat high. Your Brandon Ingram's produced 1.2 DK points per minute at 35% usage, 10% rebound rate, assisting 7 per 100 as well, so that's pretty good. Muglishvili at 0.9. Quickly, though, 1.3. AJ Lawson not going to play. Mobo not in the rotation. These guys don't matter. But Ingram and Quickly looking pretty good. So these two guys, I think, would be monster plays. My data always favors Quickly because he's a little bit cheaper and he contributes more across every category. But really, if Barnes is out, Quickly and Ingram both are going to be very key plays today. And I think Quickly would be mega chalk. I think Barnes will also, I think Ingram would also be very chalky. But we'll see what happens with Barnes here. If Barnes is in, the field's going to be at 25.5%. I'm getting half of that. The Barnes looks okay to me at 8,500. He and Banchero both look like solid plays, but I'm not quite there with the field with my ownership being appreciably less. And Josh Giddey, last guy here amongst all the top projected players here. 42.5 fantasy points for me, 44.3 for Stokastic. He's not really coming up here. Against Chicago, more of a beneficial matchup for the Philadelphia side than they are themselves going against a Philly team that will be a pace down with a slightly better than league average defense, or at least slightly better for league average by a little bit, is what Philadelphia's defense is. Giddey, always a triple-double threat, but the team at Chicago at this point pretty much full health, so not a spot for me in Giddey, but I think that he is certainly going to be a low-owned play, which should be a competitive game against Philly that'll only get more competitive if you get all the Q-tag guys out. We're to sort by value now, guys, but before we get into all the top value plays on today's slate, please do make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. If you got any value to this video, good news, I am here Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. doing this work as much as I can, of course, and really during a normal non-holiday week. I'm here every day doing the work, and that is the promise here. I show you guys my data. You can do whatever you want with it, but ultimately, I'm gambling myself on these NBA slates Monday through Saturday every single week. And, really, I do a lot of work for myself that I'm now sharing with you guys every single day. And I hope it adds value, even if you're going to fade everything I say. But please help me out. Hit the like button, subscribe. Really important on YouTube. Hit the like button because it does help the video get seen by more people. And today especially, we got a few more hours of evergreen time. So help me get seen by some new eyes, perhaps. Today, day after Christmas, where I'm sure some people will be phoning in their content. But also join Stokastic, 15% off all their data you see here on screen. Does update as the day goes on. And of course, it is tools and data that are winning people a lot of money in every single slate. So check them out. It does support the show as well when you join down below and use that promo code SPLASH. But a big thing for you is that you get 15% off any weekly or monthly package on there. That's any data, any sport, any tool, cheap stuff, expensive stuff. So please do check it out. Support yourself as much as me. And last but not least, if you want to participate in the live chat here, this is mostly a video made for the people after, because basically we have like about 2,000 people a day watching after the video is live, and then a couple hundred watching live. So I'm now focused more on the full product here. But if you join here, you can participate in the live chat, and I know then you're not going to be a troll with 3 different burners that's depressed on Christmas and trying to harass me. So it's not the sales pitch to join, but join here. If you want my data as well, join the Squirt Squad tier. That's the best one for most people. You can see this very screen here, this public version of it without stochastic data updated throughout the night. You also can get my VIP projections where they are fully exportable for whatever platform. But for those, really recommend you know what you're doing with the CSV and whatever sites you're playing on, because I cannot handhold you about how to use DFS Armies Optimizer. I will never use it in my life. No respect to those guys. I don't know anybody there, and they seem mostly like idiots. But I'm still here providing that data for you if you want it, so check it out. And if you use DFS Army, no insult intended, just like use a better product would be my suggestion as well. Moussa Diabate, your top value option here. You're getting no Kalkbrenner again, no Plumlee again. Going against Cleveland, we saw him smash. He had a 15 and 15 in that game. Diabate playing a good amount of minutes today, projected for 31.4. He looks great here. Again, Charlotte in a spot where they're playing Orlando, not the best matchup on paper, but with what he just did to Cleveland, I don't see how you jump off Diabate today. Fields at 54%, I'm at 67. He's your best value play, even though the salary is coming up here. But relative to Kalkbrenner and Plumlee being out, he should probably be priced like $6K, and he's 4,600. So I think you have to get him above the field, at the very least with the field. Khalil Ware, Stokastic, not yet updated for Bam Adebayo being out. But even with Bam Adebayo in, Ware looked like a very good play because that high total going against Atlanta. Now with Bam Adebayo out, Ware should take an even bigger leap up. Real fast, we'll go to the NBA Wowie for Miami because it's worth showing. Players off. Hero. Adebayo. So our 2 highest usage Heat players unavailable today. And you can see here, Khalil Ware leading the Heat as he is overall too. 1.3 fantasy points per minute, along with 18% usage, 20% rebound rate, shooting fine as well. And the sample size as well is very stable with 1,000 plus possessions. That's the number we're looking for to really trust usage rates, fantasy production, all that. So Ware to me has been looking good on a lot of slates lately. He did bust his chalk the other day, but still I think honestly being in like the vast majority of your lineups today. No Bam Adebayo. When Stokastic updates, I have to imagine he's going to be like a 50% owned play, and I'll still get him 75 or so. Norman Powell, also a big leap up as well. 29% usage with the two key Heat players not available, averaging 1.2 fantasy points a minute. Hawkes at 1.1. Drew Smith, probably not going to play a ton of minutes, but he's averaging 1 fantasy point per minute without those guys as well. Seemingly soaks up a little bit more usage for himself and more rebounds and assists. Nikola Jovic will be your most live pivot to Khalil Ware, but he's coming off the injury report. He's probable today, but he theoretically could take minutes away from Ware if he were playing better, as a guy that had earlier in the year taken minutes away from Ware when they weren't interested in playing him. But at this point for me, really, I would assume Ware is a great play no matter what. Powell, I think, a very good play no matter what. And you are seeing that right now in my data with me having 76% Ware. And again, Stokastic has to update, but I assume it'll be like 50 or so. Emmanuel Quickly already owned a good amount, 20%. He's a top value for me. I'm in a 36.3 projection, gaining some opportunity because of not having Barrett still and also not having Pirtle out there. It'll look a lot better for Quickly at this much ownership, with 45% of my top 150 owning Quickly, field at 20. It'll look a lot better if Barnes is out alongside Barrett, for sure. But Quickly, I think, still a good play. 6,400, a little bit too cheap. And, for Toronto today, where's their total at? Toronto, 116 total is not that great, but they're playing Washington. This total's, you know what? The line is only 6.5 favoring Toronto on the road. It might be a Barnes sitting day, because I don't think it would be they'd only be a 5.5 point favorite if Barnes played. Yeah. So Quickly, if I had to guess, he's already highly owned for me. I think Barnes is going to be out looking at the Vegas total now. And I updated right before the show, so that definitely has the impact for Barnes being downgraded to a Q tag. So Quickly is coming in a lot for me right now. He'll come up infinitely more if Barnes is out. Jalen Johnson, we talked about already. I'm above the field. I think he's still a good play no matter what breaks today. The only way he wouldn't be as good of a play is like you can't afford him because you have to play a bunch of the Heat guys, the Raptors guys because they have injuries. Anybody else that's injured, players looking better. You have to play Maxey because of not having Embiid and the various wings for the Sixers available. I think it's the only thing that would keep Jalen Johnson down. The total's too high. Match versus Miami's only getting better too with no Bam Adebayo in. Norm Powell with my updating here for no Bam looks a little bit better. I have a 39.4 projection, but even with that not being updated for Stokastic, they had him at 37.8. He gains a lot of opportunity from Hero not being in particular, but shooting guard, small forward, 7,100. The salary works. Projection looks good. I'm getting him in 34% of my lineups right now. Field to 20. I think the only thing that would really hurt that meaningfully, and even then I probably shouldn't have playing them together. Ingram would be a guy I think I'd prioritize if you got Barnes out over Powell, but Powell's still a good play no matter what. Dylan Brooks getting a lot of here. Brooks, you guys, if you followed the video all year, Brooks is a guy popping in my data very early because he's getting up a ton of shots for Phoenix overall this year. With no Grayson Allen, that gets even better for him. He's put up a 29.3% usage rate on the year. He's basically dead even with that, with Grayson Allen gone. But basically for Dylan Brooks, this is a real stupid stat, but it's true. Per 100 possessions, Dylan Brooks averaging 34.6 points. Devin Booker averaging 36.1. Dylan Brooks also putting up 11.5 3-point attempts per 100 possessions. Devin Booker putting up 8. So obviously Booker creates some assists, does some more stuff that Brooks does not. That said, Brooks is like actually Devin Booker in terms of like usage, what he's getting right now. Frankly, he's not even shooting that much worse than Devin Booker either. So I would say for Dylan Brooks, he is a player that comes up a lot for me. Do you think this number is going to come down once the injury set in and everything updates? But I'll get Dylan Brooks at least the field's 15% because he's been a pretty good play. At 6,300, I think it's a little bit underpriced. Muklashvili, I'm at 30.6 fantasy points. Stokastic also has him at 30.6. Power forward center is nice too because you can play him alongside Diabate and Ware. And in fact, I do assume a lot of the field's going to be doing that today. But Muklashvili will look even better if you get Barnes out. Because there's more usage to go around, more rebounds, more assists. Not that he's doing a lot of that. But basically for him right now at 5,500, play I'm getting above the field on. If Barnes is out, the field's ownership will come up, and I think mine will too. But right now I'm getting him at 39%. And the field's at 24% Muklashvili right now. Jamal Shed. Field's at 24%. I am at 33. He will also look better if Barnes is out because just more stats flowing to these guys, whatever amount of minutes they're going to play. And Shed would probably pick up a few minutes as well. But, Shed is a bench guy. He's playing Washington, though, so we have seen bench point guards, bench big men have good days off the bench playing against that team. Big Jamal Shed, not the most exciting play, but at 4K, he might be what you need to afford all the other guys that we like here. So Jamal Shed in play. He's in a third of my lineups right now. He's also in about a quarter of the fields. I have a hard-O for Mamu. Hard-on. I presume not a hard-O. Is that the colloquial name for your erections? He's been good. I don't think he's as good as like the field seems to, but yeah, sure. A good point here by Parker. Colin Murray Boyle's also a Q tag. If he's out, Mana should look even better. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, really, the minutes security does help, but like getting Barnes out would be the big thing. If Barnes is out, like he's just going to get so many more shots up and so many more attempts at the rim and rebounds and like all that. But Murray Boyles, if he did play, he looks decent as well. 19% ownership in my top 150, Fields at 6. Got a lot of things that we need to know about the Raptors right now. But really, whoever's left playing the Wizards, they're going to look like a good play. And honestly, even if you got if you got Barnes out and you get Nagbaji start, Jacoby Walter start, those guys are 3,400, 3,300. They would also come meaningfully into play as values. So watch out for Toronto. They kick off today at, I assume 7:30. No, they're at 7. Okay, so they're a 7 o'clock game. So you'll know all of it before lock. Perfect. Pele Larson, not really coming up for me, though. He is a lot higher projected. Gave him 24 minutes to reflect the lack of Bam Adebayo. Had to give the Miami minutes somewhere. At 3,800, I think that'll make him playable. But Larson, never a guy I'm super stoked for. He definitely has more opportunity, though, because of not having Hero and Bam Adebayo in. And Wendell Carter, Fields 12. I'm getting 11. My projection's okay at 30.5. Stokastic has him at 30. No issue with Wendell Carter besides the fact that he's not Diabate or Khalil Ware. Those guys just project a lot better. But, in lineups where I'm not playing one of those guys, I think Carter probably be the center that gets in there because the other guys you can play at power forward. So Wendell Carter, not a bad option, but, he's Wendell Carter. We're going to go game by game here. You guys know the deal. One more ask here. Much like a radio DJ, I got to keep queuing you guys up segment to segment. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Again, I'm here doing the work usually Monday to Fridays at 2 p.m. Today a little bit earlier because we are on a little bit of a Christmas schedule because I got to do family stuff and the wife is off work. The kid's off daycare. So we got to do that stuff, but I am here doing the best work I can, showing you guys my data, showing you my process the best I can here every single day, and you do whatever you want with that information. Gamble, it's your money. Gamble how you want to. I really can't encourage you that enough, but having a good process that's built on something like I do with my projections, and of course, incorporating Stokastic stuff as well. That's what I'd recommend, but follow your hearts. Stokastic too, if you want to get their stuff, 15% off, link down below. Use the promo code SPLASH over there, and it does support the show because half the money you pay to them comes back to me. And last but not least, $5 to join here. If you want to be a part of the live chats when the streams are being recorded, you can do that by joining for $5. You can also get into the Discord, and if you want to get my projections updated here, including the version at $25, you see all the stuff I'm about to show you on screen, game by game view. But also, if you want to get my exportable projections to your person that's an advanced player, knows what they're doing, pay for that tier, and you get my projections updated throughout the slate as well. All right. Miami. Oh, wait. Oops. Miami, 120. You got to see my face and zoomed in, just like we all are dying for here. Miami, 121.5 implied points. Atlanta, 125 implied points on their side. Shout out Cheka Gulag joining here. Don't go to the Gulag. But shout out Cheka Gulag for being a new member here. Appreciate that a bunch. We got Norm Powell. So we talked about these guys enough already. Like I think we can make up some time here. But basically Powell, Ware, Jaquez, Wiggins, Davion Mitchell, they all look a little bit better now because of not having Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero in today. Bam, of course, downgraded to doubtful right before the show, as we talked about. But Davion Mitchell still doesn't project that well for me. I'm at 26.5, and Stokastic is not updated for no Bam, and they have him at 28.4. So my Davion Mitchell data bias seemingly no longer available. But yeah, really any Heat players you get, they all look decent. I certainly would greatly favor Powell, Ware, and to a lesser extent, Jaime Jaquez. This is with my minutes updating to Stokastic's minutes. When they update, might look a little bit different. But I think Larson is a value, going to be an option if he starts, especially at 3,800 in this matchup. You're going to consider him. I don't think he would start, but it's possible that he does. I guess he could. He might start with Hawkins off the bench. Could be Drew Smith. Nah, Drew Smith's probably starting if Davion Mitchell weren't in. Anyway, you're going to know the starters before lock. It doesn't really matter. I don't need to speculate about it now. But these key guys are going to play a ton of minutes. They all look good. It's a really high total game against Atlanta. Two teams that play at a high pace, and Atlanta's defense is worse than the Heat's as well. Atlanta on their side, despite the pace up against the Heat, really only Jalen Johnson coming up for me. Trae Young, okay guy, I guess, to get to at that price tag. Still not the most exciting player to me at 8,800. Think he needs to be about 8K for me to start getting there. He's only produced, 1.27 fantasy points minute is not bad, but it's not where he was historically. And I think the longer term sample size that Stokastic uses probably includes a little bit too much. But Jalen Johnson to me seems worth the field's 27% ownership. I'm getting 41. Only thing that's going to change that is if I can't afford to get to him because I need to play other guys who are going to look like better projections when we have the various players that get ruled out for illness and injury throughout the day. Charlotte 112.5 implied points. Only player you really need to know here is Moussa Diabate because the key Hornets are all priced pretty appropriately and they're all in today. Con Knipples at 5% owned. He's okay, but I really don't love him in spots where Miller, Bridges, and LaMelo are all available. But they do occasionally spike their upside meaningfully against Orlando. I don't see it, but it could happen. Diabate, though, the fact that he lit it up against Cleveland, I still think it's a good cosign for him being a guy we could trust in adverse matchups. But the big thing is that you have no Kalkbrenner, no Plumlee. So Diabate, as long as he doesn't get into foul trouble, will probably play 30 minutes no matter what. And he's been good, producing a flat 1 fantasy point per minute here on the year. Orlando, 118 implied points. Paolo Banchero, pretty owned by the field. Do you think that can change if we do get better value opening up or just guys getting ruled out and they look a little bit better? The Banchero, no Suggs. He's doubtful. No Franz Wagner still. So at 8,700, he's got a ceiling. And the matchup's not that bad playing Charlotte. Definitely good playing Charlotte with them giving up 118.5 points per 100 possessions. Desmond Bane, 15% for the field. I'm right there. Anthony Black, about 5. Wendell Carter, 11 for me. Fields at 12. Orlando doesn't look bad. They're playing Charlotte, so these guys being tournament options that decrease your ownership product and have a ceiling, I have no issue with that. I'm just not quite as high on them as the field, it seems. Toronto here, they're playing Washington, so these guys all look good. I do think the total here with 116 implied points, Washington at 109.5, kind of feels to me like Barnes not playing. It also might be a halfway in between line, so keep your eyes peeled here. You'll know by lock if Barnes is playing or not. If Barnes is in, though, the field's going to play these guys all around 25%. That's okay. I like quickly the most right now. Ingram, I'm also at 24%. Muklashvili, I'm getting at 40. Shed, I'm at 33. Murray Boyles, I'm at 19. But if you get a few of these guys out, in particular Barnes, but also Barnes and Murray Boyles, everybody's going to look better. There'll be more minutes to go around for all the remaining parts. And if I had to guess, most of them will go to Agbaji and Walter. But I guess they could do a surprise Mogbo or something like that. That wouldn't be impossible. But this team looks good now. It'll look a lot better if you get Barnes out. Washington with their 109.5 implied points. Nobody coming up much for me here besides Keyshawn George, and he is also a guy, once we have better plays matriculating through the sim, he's probably not going to be there as much. But Keyshawn George right now bidding at 15%, Fields at 6. Nobody else in the team projects is over a 5x value for me, so it's not really the spot. Sarr, the minutes seem to be getting a little more stable, but they have been playing him less than they did before his injury. I'm not sold on that. McCollum with George in and all the other guys in, Middleton, Bub Carrington, Koulibaly, I don't see it. Champagny being out will open up a little bit, I guess. He got downgraded, but I don't think enough. I don't think enough will be opened up here. Boston, 115 implied points. Indiana, 106.5. Pretty big pace up for Boston here, but every matchup is because they were playing at a very low 95.7 pace right now. Jaylen Brown, I talked about being a pay-up option with tournament upside, 11% sim ownership in my top 150. Fields at 7, not a big stand, but I do want to get some. Derek White looks okay to me. I actually have him 0.5 higher than Stokastic at 37.6. They're at 37.1, but Derek White only getting 2%. The Fields at 5. Peyton Pritchard a little bit cheaper, so I'm getting 5% and change. The Fields at a rounded up 4. But Boston here gets Indiana. Indiana, not as fast-paced and not as bad defensively as they were earlier in the year, so that might be part of it, but I think Jaylen Brown's okay. Not lots of love here, though. Indiana on their side, getting Andrew Nembhard at 32.5 fantasy points. Stokastic at 32.4. Dog, can you not? We got 23% ownership in my top 150 for Nembhard. Fields at 18. Nembhard's a little bit underpriced for what he is, your lead point guard here. But definitely not a guy I think is a must-have play, especially as better value opens up. Right now that the Field's at 18, I'm at 23. McConnell and Flat with the Field 7%. No big stands there. It's not an appealing spot for Indiana. They're not a team I'm getting too much right now because they seem kind of overpriced for what they are. Philly 120.5. Right now, nothing's coming up. But if you get Embiid, Edgecombe, Grimes, Barlow out, it'll all look better for everybody. But in particular, Embiid being out would make Maxey and Paul George look a lot more playable at their pretty expensive salaries. They're playing Chicago, so it's a good matchup. And if you get the key guys out here, it'll look a lot better. If Embiid somehow plays, he's not going to have any ownership because of the knee injury and his salary being where it is. He's a compelling tournament option too. I think if everybody plays, But you want to see a few guys get ruled out here to really like Philadelphia more. It's a good total, though, for them. Chicago getting Kobe White a little bit. Again, he always projects a little bit better for me than Stokastic today, 0.7 higher. Because he's played pretty well in the year with 1.1 fantasy points a minute. Giddey seems overpriced. Vucevic is expensive enough at 6,700. He's playing well enough, though, and he's hit recently, so don't have an issue with that. Chicago's side, though, I think not a priority. Again, on a slate like this where you have a bunch of teams with Q-tag guys, doubtful guys, guys who are out, you want to gravitate more towards those teams and take your tournament option teams, guys with big or tournament option players, guys that massive ceiling from these games. So if you get a little bit of Chicago, fine, but like they're not priorities. Milwaukee, 111 implied points. Memphis, 116.5 here. Bobby Portis at 32% for the field. I'm only getting 13. My projection's a bit lower at 30 fantasy points against Stokastic, that longer-term sample size. Portis used to kill every time Giannis didn't play. Now he's getting more reliable minutes, but the rates still aren't like knockout good with Giannis off the court this year. So Portis, I'm not with the field's chalky ownership, and I think it's going to come down because of some better plays opening up. But Porter Jr., Rollins, to me, still in play. Their price tags, Porter Jr. though at 9K, a little bit expensive now at this point. Rollins off the bench, a little bit expensive for that, but you saw in the popcorn machine I showed you before, he played basically that entire second half. If he's playing well, he'll get more minutes, but he's not playing well. He is just basically your backup point guard. It's not the best. Kyle Kuzma still looking okay here. Fields at 24%. I'm at 26. Kuzma's playing better this year, shooting above league average, a little bit of rebounding, a little bit of assist. He's not the dog shit player he was last year that I faded on every single slate. Milwaukee here against Memphis. It's not a bad matchup. A little bit of a pace up. It's not a great matchup either. And Memphis, nothing coming in here because everybody looks like they're going to play today. You still have Vince Williams out. Still a few of those relatively useless guys out like Clark and Edey, who is a useful guy who's still out. But nothing here looks good, so let's save some time on Memphis. Phoenix, 122.5 implied points. Devin Booker, not getting any of here. Clearly, my big stand is Dillon Brooks. The matchup is soft against New Orleans, so Booker can have one of those outlier days here at 10% ownership. That wouldn't be crazy. And Frank at 8,900, it might be worth taking that shot more than the lack of ownership I'm getting. He just doesn't project that well for me overall. I have him 3 fantasy points lower than Stokastic because, like we talked about, he's basically playing like Dillon Brooks offensively right now in terms of points scored, in terms of usage, in terms of how well they're shooting. They look like the same guy. So that's not great for either. I mean, it's great for Dillon Brooks. It's not great for Devin Booker. Colin Gillespie getting reliable minutes without Grayson Allen. He's getting 17% owned. I'm right with that. Again, it's a soft matchup against New Orleans. Any of these guys I think are playable relative to that. Mark Williams, conceptually a good play, but he's not playing enough minutes. Only 23.5 projected. Can't really get there, but he is a pivot to some of our chalkier center plays at a similar price tag. Royce O'Neal, I'm not there, but against New Orleans, maybe some peripherals to go around for him and easy shots. And Jordan Goodwin comes up sometimes for me because of the price tag and the guard eligibility he has. He's okay. Against New Orleans, a little bit better for him off the bench, kind of like the Washington matchup. But, you know, it's not as big of a pace up. And frankly, New Orleans at this point, a lot more signs of life than some of the other teams that we've been attacking every slate. So Phoenix, you'll get guys, but I don't think any of them are like slate defining plays, even though Dillon Brooks is obviously coming up a lot for me. New Orleans on their side, Zion playing off the bench. The minutes are not anywhere near good enough for a $7,200 guy, so you're not going to go there. Trey Murphy, a little bit of ownership, 9% for the field. I'm getting 7. Derek Queen, I love, but he's too expensive now to me at 7K when we have Zion in. Really my favorite kind of player, though. Big man who can do all the triple-double stuff. Can bring the ball up, too. He needs to get in better shape, but, like, he still can play a lot of minutes right now. Definitely defense is going to get better for him, but I'm just really making a case. I love Derek Queen. I know a lot of people do. I know a lot of your basketball podcasters. I think, Zach Lowe and Bill Simmons been sucking off Derek Queen as well lately. But like we've been on Derek Queen early. I want to keep being there, but I think they need to, at this point, you need like Zion to be gone, I think, for Derek Queen to feel good at a 7K salary. At least in terms of how I view it. Late slate / maybe FanDuel. I don't know if it's on FanDuel or not. I'll know later today. I don't know yet. Detroit 126.5 implied points. Utah 117. You can play anybody from Detroit because they're playing Utah. Utah's side does not look as good though with them being at full strength and not priced for it because now we got Markkanen back and you got Nurkic back in and they've missed games lately. Clippers on their side looking pretty good. In particular, Harden and Kawhi Leonard. Brook Lopez as well filling in for Zubac again. He's out. He'll look a little bit better as well. And Portland on their side, no Jeremy Grant again, still no Scoot, still no Drew Holiday. So Avdia, Shaden Sharp, all the usage they can handle basically. Tamani Kamara probably gets a little bit more. Donovan Clingan, He looks okay. Portland overall, you just take high usage guys off. It's the rule of NBA DFS. Take high usage guys off. Anybody who's left is going to look a lot better. And that's the case here for Portland for the late slate / whatever else you could play them on. All right. And let's go to Stokastic next. Might not do a single lineup sim because I think, well, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Let's go to contest generator here. We're going to build 5,000 lineups and have them compete 10,000 times. Keep in mind, Stokastic is not updated for Bam Adebayo out, so that's not going to be a perfect sim, but we'll get a read on what their top lineups look like. And before we do that, guys, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Again, goes a long way for me here. The amount of people that get see my literally just the thumbnail here on YouTube depends on you guys hitting the like button. So please keep doing that here. I really do feel bad I missed the Christmas slate though video, but ultimately can't get every video, but I still do show up here. My attendance rate is stellar, I think, compared to most. So I'm still here Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. doing the work every NBA slate that I am gambling on. And that's going to be the case here. So join along for the ride. And of course, check out Stokastic. Their sim right now is not updated for Bam Adebayo being out, but it will be updated later on. So check out for that update when they do that. That 15% off link down below. I use the promo code SPLASH when you get over there and you get 15% off of any package at Stokastic. And last but not least, $5 to join here. If you want to be a part of the live chat, join for $5. If you also want to see my data updated throughout the night, you can see that by joining one of the Squirt Squad tiers down below. I recommend for most people the regular Squirt Squad tier because you can see the data, make your decisions off of it. But if you want exportable projections, you know how to use them without me having to handhold you. Join the VIP tier and you can get that instead. And that will also be a great way to get a little bit more unique, even though my projections, as you can see, not super off market, but off by enough that the lineups get more unique for it. And I finished top 100 in the DK slate yesterday. So I did not put any effort in for that slate. So I still feel good about how the data is running without any interference on the human level. Your top ROI lineups according to Stokastic right now. And let's take Bam Adebayo out because he's going to be in some of them. Lineup filter. Right now, lineup filter over here. Lineup does not contain. All right, so our top 150 without Bam Adebayo. We got Trey Jones. I don't think so. Colin Gillespie, Kyle Kuzma, Jalen Johnson, Khalil Ware, Kevin Porter Jr., Colin Murray Boyles, Moussa Diabate. I mean, everybody else in this lineup looks good. Trey Jones, though, I don't see the reason to play him with that team healthy at this point. Jamal Shed at number 2. Jordan Goodwin, Kyle Kuzma again, Jalen Johnson again, Moussa Diabate again. Andrew Nembhard makes this one. Scotty Barnes makes this one. Derek Queen as well. Number 3, Andrew Nembhard, Jordan Goodwin, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Johnson, Moussa Diabate, Davion Mitchell, Colin Murray Boyles again, and Khalil Ware again. Number 4, Emmanuel Quickley, Colin Gillespie, Kyle Kuzma, Colin Murray Boyles. It's a lot of Murray Boyles here. Really giving a lot of love to that Washington matchup, which you got Moussa Diabate, Kevin Porter Jr., Scotty Barnes, Bobby Portis. So again, if you get these two guys out, these top ROI lineups are going to look completely different for Stokastic. Number 5, TJ McConnell, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Sandro Mamukelashvili, who will also look better if you get Barnes and Murray Boyles out. Diabate, Colin Gillespie, Jalen Johnson, and Khalil Ware. Look, I like most of the players in these lineups, and I think the ones that I don't really feel crazy about, I get being rotational parts of my portfolio. Trey Jones, I just don't see that. Highest ROI players in the slate, according to Stokastic: Kyle Kuzma, number 1, Dylan Brooks, number 2, Moussa Diabate, number 3, TJ McConnell, number 4, tied with Jamal Shed, and then Jalen Johnson and Bam Adebayo right behind him. So Adebayo being out is going to mean a lot of changes in Stokastic data. In particular, I presume Khalil Ware. I mean, Khalil Ware was already in 45% when Bam Adebayo in, so he's going to be like a 60, 70% play for Stokastic if I had to guess, with Adebayo out. But your top exposed players, Moussa Diabate and 93% of these top 150 lineups. Not a surprise. Again, our thumbnail boy Diabate, he's been great. Certainly, though, I think a lot of people think the same way I do. He was great against Cleveland. How could he not be great against Orlando? So if he gets in foul trouble or just sucks today, those are ways that you get away from the field and perhaps, you can foresee it. But I will still play him a ton. I don't think he's a 100% play, but he'll be in 75 to 90% of my lineups, I think, no matter what. Jalen Johnson, 50% exposure, Fields at 25 and change. Again, he looks good. The only thing that would change him would be other guys getting ruled out, making other players look better. The total's so high in the spot versus Miami. Jalen Johnson's been great. Hard to really consider fading him. And it also helps, too. The game's not in Miami. So if you have any thoughts about Jalen Johnson going to the club, he's going to the club in Atlanta, the club he normally goes to. So it's fine. Kyle Kuzma, 49% ownership, Fields at 24. Big stand on Kuzma, but he's at a nice price tag, facing a Memphis team that's at least league average and a little bit of a higher pace team as well. Khalil Ware, 45%, Fields at 26. Both numbers have to come up a good amount for no Bam Adebayo today in that high total game against Atlanta. Jamal Shed, 42% exposure, Fields at 23. Again, it's a lot of Jamal Shed, but he allows you to afford the pay-up options that you want. And he's playing Washington and backup guards versus Washington who get that full unencumbered second unit kind of run. They pay up often enough. So I don't think Jamal Shed is like 40 fantasy points in his bag, but if he gives you 30 today, that's probably more than enough for sure. Brandon Ingram, 39% exposure, Fields at 27. It's only going to get higher as well. We got Scotty Barnes out, and then Bobby Portis, Mukulishvili, not too far behind in exposure with about 35, 40% for both. Highest leverage plays, Diabate at 38% more in the field. Jalen Johnson, 24% more. Kuzma, 24% more. Khalil Ware, 19% more. And Jamal Shed, also 19% more. Davion Mitchell, who I'm not high on today, Stokastic is, though. He's right behind. Brandon Ingram right behind. Mukulishvili right behind. And they will come up a ton if you get Barnes out. Paolo Banchero, your biggest fade here. Negative 13% leverage, only 15% exposure. Fields at 28. I agree with that, so cool to see it in Stokastic. Andrew Wiggins will look better when they update for no Bam Adebayo, but negative 9% leverage right now. Only 5% exposure, and the Fields at 14. Royce O'Neal, negative 8% leverage. Fields at 16, and you're only getting 9 in Stokastic's top 150. Tyrese Maxey, basically unplayable, negative 7% leverage. But if you get Embiid out, let alone Embiid plus Grimes plus Edgecombe plus Barlow out, Maxey's going to look a lot better. Though I think he sucked last game in the same situation, but still, you give that shot with the usage he'll have. And Miles Turner, negative 6% leverage, 3% exposure, Fields at 9. Yeah, I have no feelings at all about Miles Turner. I feel like Portis playing more lately has not been great for him. And Miles Turner, I've been watching as much Milwaukee lately because I'm not getting Ryan Rollins in every single slate. But Turner has demotivated. The stats are getting worse by the week. He came to the team for one thing. He came to play with Giannis and get big paid and get revenge on Indiana. And now the team is dog shit. And I think his results, his salary dropping are showing that. So, Stokastic's fading him again here. But at a certain point, he'll be so cheap that you still want to play him. All right. And that's, we're in 40 minutes. I'll do a single lineup sim here. Again, it's not updated enough. So that's going to make it a little bit annoying for me because Stokastic is not yet updated for Bam Adebayo being out, but we'll still do it. Hold on. Let me just sort my sheet here. All right. Well, center is going to be easy here. We're just going to take the chalk. Where? Diabate. Done and done. In football, I'd really question how much ownership they'll have. In the NBA, you just kind of take that chalk and be happy with it. I am going to go Mamu here at one of my power forward spots. Might go Jalen Johnson for the other one, but I'm not 100% sure on that yet. There you go. Here for the hand build. That's all I can ever ask. Giving out handies left and right. Point guard here. Point guard for me is quickly. And it's only going to look better if we get Barnes out. So right now we're building a lineup that I think will look good now, but look better if we get some of these guys out. And also just let alone Stokastic updating for Bam Adebayo being out. But that's sort of the way I'm trying to build right now. Why would you play Zach Collins? That is not a name I would think about even for a moment on the slate. Did he play a lot of minutes last game? Played 18 minutes last game. What are we doing? It's not a... What are you fucking with me? No, it's not the kind of play I would play. On a slate like this, and it's something that, the Stokastic guys talk about a lot, but it's really important to note, you don't need to play every player in NBA DFS. In fact, usually you want to have your player pool concentrated around the guys that have some amount of ownership. Zach Collins projects to be entirely unowned. The starting Bulls who are good are also unowned. Zach Collins is a 17-point projection. So that's not the kind of guy you want to play on a slate where you're going to have starters that are picking up a ton of run at similar price tags. If you want to put him in one lineup because you have a vibe for him, you can, but usually not the kind of guy you're thinking about in a slate where Vooch is in, Jalen Smith is in. If those guys were out, then it's Zach Collins, that's the first guy you think of. But not usually the way to play DFS in terms of how I view it. I say that trying to help. Hopefully that adds some value. Shooting guard, I'm going to go Norm Powell here. Another guy who looks good for me right now, and then will look better in Stokastic data when Bam Adebayo being doubtful gets reflected in the data. At small forward, it would be Also Norm Powell for me. Or Dylan Brooks. Does Stokastic like Dylan Brooks? Probably not. No, they don't mind Dylan Brooks today. Okay, cool. Dylan Brooks at small forward. We'll do that. And we got 2 spots left. If we play Jalen Johnson, we're only going to have 3,900 left. If we play Jalen Johnson, that leaves us, what are the options at guard? Alvarado. It doesn't matter that he has a low salary. There's other guys that have, like Jamal Shed has a low salary at 4K. Play Jamal Shed. Kitty, no. Sorry, the Alex and Luke are here, and now the dog has to bark. Pele Larson, not in play in Stokastic data right now. This is tough. I'm going to go, instead of Jalen Johnson, let's go Ingram, who still looks okay in the data, but would look better if Barnes is out. And at forward, we got 6,400 left, and we can go Jaime Jaquez here, who again looks okay now, will look better when the update for no Bam Adebayo. So the team I'm simming out here is Quickly, Powell, Brooks, Mamukelashvili, Khalil Ware, Brandon Ingram, Jaime Jaquez, Musa Diabate. So a team that right now, without the updated data, projects for 43% ROI. I think that's going to go up pretty meaningfully when we get, again, the Bam Adebayo stuff reflected adequately, and also if you get Barnes out. This lineup to me would be like one of the first lineups I would play if we get Barnes out. If Barnes is in, it still looks good, though, because we're playing Washington. So that's it. Bad kitty, yeah. She's not eating. She would eat my pot pie if she could. I say that. But she's not eating my pot pie currently. With all the value opening up and not a ton of massive payups, this is going to be a fun slate. Yeah, I agree. I think it should be fun. No Jokic to deviate me too. Like, though, I'll tell you what, though, Jokic putting up like 105 yesterday fantasy points. That was such a huge bailout because like I had so many lines with Jokic and they all just like creeped up to the cash line. So that was fantastic. But no Jokic today. We got Jalen Johnson instead. But I'm going to give you guys my splash plays of the day. Probably is obvious from the video. But before I do that, one last ask. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Again, I'm just one dude showing you my gambling, showing up here the day after Christmas. Yeah, I could take the day off, but I know you guys get value out of this video. And I know a lot of you guys too are paying members here. So I want to make sure you're getting what you deserve out of that. So please help me out by supporting that back, showing the same love back by hitting that like button and subscribing so I can keep fighting the good fight here on YouTube against much bigger companies, much bigger channels. I beat Run Pure a lot of days. It's like Run Pure and Ship It. I'm beating a lot of days, guys, which is crazy because I'm not a DFS site. I'm just me here. But you know, that's what we're trying to do here. And it's not, you know, I don't, those guys, I don't know anything about them. I don't know them personally. But you know, it's pretty crazy what we've been able to do with just my heart of things and you guys showing some love. So let's keep doing it. Stokastic 15% off promo code SPLASH. Check it out. Link down below. Again, all the cheap packages, all the expensive packages, all 15% off that promo code SPLASH. And last but not least, join the Discord here. Join the channel rather if you want to get access to the Discord and also the live chat here when we're doing streams. That's going to be permanent now. Members only chats when I am going live on the NFL and NBA channels. But $5 to join here. And also you get a Discord. If you want to get my data updated throughout the night, join one of the Squirt Squad tiers. In particular, just the regular Squirt Squad tier for most of you guys will be the one you want because it's a little bit cheaper. And also, like a lot of you guys, I don't think need exportable projections. So join that one if you want to see my stuff updated. All right, splash plays for the day. Diabate, Khalil Ware, easy. Power forward, Jalen Johnson, chalky, fine. Mamukelashvili looks good now. Will look better if we get Barnes out. Dylan Brooks, a splash play. Norm Powell, a splash play. Jaime Jaquez, he's going to be chalky, but I'm with the field on him. Quickly, definitely a splash play. I'm above the field on him now, and I would be even more above if you got Barnes out. But that's the core. I'm going to have, you know, look, it's a lot of splash plays to list, but that's legit. Like all the guys I'll be above the field on, barring whatever else we get added. Prepare for chaos, though. Keep your eyes peeled for NBA stuff. News coming out throughout the day. And we'll be on live before lock at 6 p.m., so I'm going to go do family activities, back locked in for NBA for that later on today. And, of course, gamble responsibly, guys, even though it is always money time here on this channel. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the channel at Splash Play Bets on YouTube, at Splash Play Pod on Twitter if you want to see my NFL and NBA videos. If you want my NFL takes for Week 17, check out the at Splash Play Pod channel as well. Just finished that video, going through all the stuff with similar process for the NFL. And, again, hope it was a good Christmas for you guys. Enjoy whatever time off you have or pseudo time off. And I'll see you guys again soon. Catch me at 6. Check me on Stokastic today, tomorrow, and Sunday for live before lock for NFL. And enjoy your days, guys. Good luck. Bye-bye. And see you soon.